Hello everyone and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Today we continue the Playing Every Division series with 242nd Gornostrelkovaya. So for those of you who are new to the channel, because I've seen that there's quite a few people who have joined recently, and maybe not familiar with the series, this is basically a kind of deck building video combined with actually playing the game, Division then in a game, and then also going back to the deck building and trying to improve where needed. So yeah, the setup is pretty simple. This is my initial deck. I'm gonna for some divisions I may have played it, for some divisions I may not actually have played the division at all yet, and then I'm gonna go through how it should be built in my opinion. Then we play the and what I think of the division as a whole, and then we play a game, and then we go back to what my thoughts are on the division and how I think you should build it after having played it with that build. So if you're looking for an ideal build of a division, you probably want to skip to the end of the video usually, because that is going to be the final build, or the improved build at least, maybe not the final one that I ever do. The first one, of course, can be a good indication for you, but sometimes I'm off quite a bit, and sometimes I'm also not. So with that out of the way, let's get into this one. So yeah, I always try to keep it short at the start. Both of these parts, other than the game, are usually quite lengthy still, but I try to give you the most important stuff first, so that those of you who just want to hear that and skip ahead can do that. So my thoughts on this division: obviously it's Vanguard. There's too much phase locking here. We're going to go again into more detail in a bit on that matter. But other than that, I think it's a decent one. Its main weakness is light armor, so you have to be very careful. But, you know, it has quite a bit of hybridness. So you can see the Raider trait is very useful. I think you can easily overwhelm your opponent with some of the cheaper options you have. Good CQC, again, the hybridness, that can definitely matter as well when you want to try to be aggressive. And, you know, you have some things that can actually back it up, like Ice once. The Ice 2 is in there for different reasons. We're going to get to that in a second. But yeah, you have some things that give you sustain, but it is definitely a division that tends to run out. I think it's a pretty solid division, though, as a whole. Again, light armor is, in my opinion, the main weakness of this, despite you having to run 1s and 2s. But other than that, I think it has a lot of punch. But again, you need to be a little bit careful with your resources. I use them wisely. And you don't want to have a too long grind, because then I think you can run out relatively quickly. That's my main issue, in my opinion. Good. As for the build, notable things that should be discussed before we go into a lot of detail. The IS-2 is not something that you necessarily want to have with Vanguard, in my opinion. However, since this is for quick play, I have put it in there. There's not that many things that I think we desperately need. We could have some more air spam, for example, and other things. We could take more options into recon tab. We could take some more support stuff. It's not that nothing, so we could take more good AA. But all in all, I think this gives us a nice bit of flexibility, which is why I specifically take that one. And the others we do not want to pass on. Other important things here is, or choices that you have, is here we actually have the option to take the flak filling in A phase only. You could definitely swap these out if you want to have more better AA. I decided I want to have more ranged AT, but you know, it is absolutely not wrong to take the flak filling there. Other options in the artillery tab, I think that are noteworthy, are this thing. Not R, is this thing. You can use as a kind of sort of mini off map. But if you want to take an A, you need supplies in A, because it runs out super quickly, and I don't want to do that. So that's that. Other than that, you know, more air spam, there's options there. You could definitely go for the other recon plane if you want to recon plane. But on that, I don't think that there's many options here that where we can actually make a change. Actually, sorry, one thing that no, never mind. I didn't actually change that. So yeah, there's that. To go into a bit more details, in the recon tab, there is one thing that we could do about the light armor issue, which is the told you one. However, so far I think it's gonna be okay with the 2-run one. However, if we run into a lot of problems with that, we might switch. So maybe good to go into more details about this. Why do I think it is Vanguard? Why do I think the light armor is a problem? Vanguard's pretty simple. A phase locked, A phase locked, A phase locked. No, this one actually not, but you can't move it to B phase. We're going to get to Y. A phase locked. We can move that into B phase. Good A phase locked, A phase locked. A simple reason. That's the main reason. And again, you can run out of this as well. But yeah, so far I think it's not the biggest issue. Sorry. And the AT issues. They have AT grenades. These guys have no AT whatsoever. These guys obviously don't have AT. These guys don't even have. Sorry, these guys don't even have AT. Just kind of an after just with Raider and the different name, obviously. Yeah, this is your Panzerschreck. In the recon tab, no AT, no AT, no AT, no AT, no AT. In this tab, well, no light AT, except for this maybe, no bazookas. So light armor can definitely be a bit of an issue. And, you know, this thing is not horrible if it is against it's like half-tracks and such, which can already be quite oppressive if you don't have any AT whatsoever on your infantry that can deal with it. So for that reason alone, the Told You one can be very useful. And so far, I am thinking that the Turan one should be enough, but I might be very wrong here, so we might want to put that in there. Other than that, I just like my snipers for an explosive opener. This thing, in my opinion, is not too bad because radio. Radio is useful because our artillery pieces actually have radio. They're a lot better with radio. And, you know, you can kind of ignore the TNT. This is just a relatively, or a bit more chunky sniper. And it is, I think, well in range with it, with the price that it has for that. So that's not horrible. And then this thing, it doesn't have shock, which is very important. So that can be a problem, but still, I think £25 for 10 men instead of 8 if you compare to the Tanko, which is otherwise relatively similar. Yeah, you get 2 more men, so a bit more damage, but you lose the shock, which is not great. But I think that can work out. And again, radio is nice to have. Also, that helps us in our infantry tab, as you're going to see. So the infantry tab is quite A-phase heavy, still have a lot of infantry which you need. And yeah, so basically the only thing that I don't take is this one, the Gorno Afto. Well, and this one. Because it is an Afto with a smoke grenade instead of a AT grenade. And radar, of course, but other than that, nothing changes. Availability is the same, yeah. And the reason why I don't take it is the smoke can be very useful. Don't think it is useless. The smoke can be very, very useful. But I just don't think we really need it that much. If it has the AT grenade, it is super for defensive positioning, because in towns, for example, because then units can't just move in, but also vehicles can't just drive through. So you need to dig them out somehow, and that can cost your opponent time and resources. However, this kind of falls away, so we can only use it as pure CQC, where smoke can be used as well. But we just have something better with this one, same price. Well, it doesn't have shock, but it's 11 man with a TNT, and we also get a smoke. So the question is really, admittedly, the submachine guns are a little bit worse, but we also get 1 man, so it's harder to kill, and the combination of SMG and TNT is not too bad. Now, I'm not 100% sold on this, just to be clear. I think this division, or this unit has its issues. I think there's problems with that, which is the shock that is missing. And again, this is a clear nerve, right? The worst PPSH. But at the end of the day, I think it's still okay. That is why I don't take this one. This one, we could spam them out in B phase, but I think it's okay. We have other choices there. And this one, yeah, if I would want to have more leaders, I would take it, of course, but obviously want to take the one with the Panzerschreck because we need it, kind of. Otherwise, as far as the build is concerned, we do want to have some good, decent line infantry, I think, in a B phase. Again, since we're on Vanguard. These guys are super good for their hybridness alone, but they're decent units in both range as well. Of course, you know, for 30 points, you don't get a great line infantry unit, and for 30 points, you also not get a great CQC unit, but it does well enough at the end of the day in both roles. And the fact that it has red trait makes it even better for aggressive users, because they can actually push forward and keep pushing forward. And, you know, they can still do quite a bit of damage at the end of the day. So these we have in A and B phase. Again, think the flexibility is great, and I don't want to waste all the strong units in A phase already. We talked about this one. Again, A phase is where I want to push. So I generally have overloaded my A phase a little bit so that we can still draw from that in B phase, but we have the options. We have a lot of tools available in A phase to actually push. Gornostrelkovaya, they're not bad for 20 points. Hybrid units have their strengths again for aggressive purposes. We double vet them though because we don't need 16 of them in A phase. I think those should do. And then in C phase, we just take them because we're out of good long range stuff. Still want to have one card of these. I don't vet them because again, I see them as a 15-point grenade thrower that is relatively low health, but it can actually pump out some damage to the PPSHs. But this for me is a spam unit, one that is not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily need to survive. So I'd rather have more and overwhelm my, this is a pure overwhelm unit, right? I want to spam them out, overwhelm my opponent. Survival is really just optional. Tank tab, not many options here. The one thing that you could do is move this to B phase and move this to A phase. The reason why I'm not doing out of those is in A phase that this thing is really good for just holding ground and being super annoying, and kind of blocking an area. And we want to start doing this in A phase already. Also, this is the only thing that is mobile and has that range. This really is great, but it has its limitation, both in pen and range. So we want to have this available because we cannot rely on having the points available to colonize too, when we need range and pen. Also, it's quite bit more expensive, and these kind of tanks usually need a big investment following up, which you don't necessarily want to do. And you might want to do that for a nice one already, but you know, maybe you can accept not doing it for a short moment. And this, yeah, we just need some sort of tank in B phase, really, both to deal with all the light armor and all the tanks. This is not the best medium tank killer, but it can at least suit with the heat shell, even if it's not optimal. Or we can just hope that we get an overpen if it's against, yeah, some other tank. So this is where I think this thing is really useful in B phase. It is great for infantry support too, which is why I would love to have it in A phase, but just don't think we can fit it in. Here, not really that many options. Again, we could spam out these if you want. I don't think we need more 20 mils. AT, we take this because we don't have a lot of light AT, and this can, and infantry AT, so this can kind of help us in that regard, where the 2-on-1s might be fail or are not available. There is an argument to be made that this thing could be used as well. However, there's a difference in health here. Rate of trade really helps a lot. 2 PTRS are just better, but you get a lot more availability. So, yeah, you have to decide for yourself how this balances out. For me, it's if I call one of these in, you know, these are great for just rushing forward and be annoying at the start. These for me are better as actual AT unit, and since I want to rely on these to do stuff, I would rather have these guys. Who survive a little bit longer. AA, simple reason why I have this is lack of range in A phase. The only thing I could buy is an IS-1, so this just gives me a cheaper option. The reason why I take this in B phase is so that we have something in the long run that can at least defend us there. And in B phase onwards, I'd rather buy this than an 85 mil, so that's the reason why. These are still good, and I want to have enough AA, so I actually let go of this, even though it might suck. Here, off map, super useful. Take it in A phase, even though it sucks, but we're probably not going to buy more than one anyway. Mountain guns are super good. You could bet it. It's not wrong. The only other thing, again, we've talked about this, can be useful, but only if you have supplies in A phase, which I don't want to do, because then we have less supplies and the mountain guns actually eat through supplies. Alternatively, we can take 2 cards, but at the moment I just can't fit them in. Might be something worth thinking for if you take out the S2, for example. But then you still need to make room for that unit as well. Now here, I prefer the L2 car over the Yak 9R as a recon plane, and I really like my recon planes. This is why I take it to begin with. For the simple reason that it, you know, the L2 car shouldn't really die as easily. Obviously, the Yak 9R has the advantage of being also usable as a fighter. And being faster, that has its uses. The L2 car, of course, can also be shot down. If your opponent is not super enough to head on it, he can get on the back and this thing will die nonetheless, and regardless of his resilience. Also, with the speed, it's kind of hard to run away. But my choice is here. I just take the better Boston. We only get 1 in A phase anyway. It's only 5 points more expensive. Speed is the same. Nothing else has changed. So might as well take to one of the big booms. One big bomb is usually better than multiple smaller ones. And then there's this thing right here, which since it's still decently fast and has 220 mils, I use this both as a fighter as well as a fighter bomber. But the loadout is not too bad. This one is quite bad, so I wouldn't want to use this. And you see the price difference here. It's not that big of an up price and not that big of a loss in speed over the pure fighters. I don't really think. Avail, yeah, it's a bit different, but I think we can accept that. And then this thing is just not that good. So it's not a good AT plane to begin with, and it's not ideal if we need to use this against light armor. It is something that you want to use against other things. And with that, I think it's finally time to get into the game. This is actually way longer than it usually takes, but these are new divisions. I want to take the time to actually go over everything in detail. And here we are on Harrow. So it took a while to get a good game. Again, I had to set up one with a volunteer. So thank you so much for joining in. And now let's deploy. So we're playing against Hermann Göring on Harrow. It's not ideal. Let's see what we can do. So, first things first. This means that there are some units that can take care of our beloved IS-1. However, still the Panzer Force, T-34s and Yak Panzer Force in this area shouldn't really be able to do anything. I'm more afraid of him having a Tiger, and I am also afraid of him bringing out the Storm Tiger, because yeah, that one will just blow this up eventually. This will never pen it, and there's that. Also 88s, of course, I need to be careful about, though this thing will probably kill the 88 before the 88 will pen this twice. So in that regard, not the biggest issue. Tank busters, that's more something to be worried about. Right, now these are not as useful in this scenario, of course, because a lot of light armor, which is a weakness of this division, as we have determined. So I got screwed really badly by light armor rush by Kirby in a recent practice game. Was it a practice game? I think it was. Maybe not. We'll rush into here. So, oh no, it wasn't stream, I remember. But yeah, it's just putting one of these there is too much and will still not stop a larger push. So I'm going to put one of these there defensively. Not a huge fan of it, but I feel like we kind of have to. Probably an area where it's a bit harder to spot it ahead of time. So now I'm not super worried about this. We have more and better CQC at the end of the day, so that's good. And the way we're going to fight over this is just going to spam all our Gornos at parry. And it doesn't really matter what he brings there. They will. They will overwhelm. Like, that's not a question. They will overwhelm whatever is there. And I think I'm good with that. So we also want to have some, well, hold on. Since he might push something into here, I want to have the one that can at least defend itself with the TNT. Also, you know, area and radio in this area might be useful. So this is where I kind of go with this, right? So wherever we need speed, we use the normal sniper. Wherever we need the radio, we use this one. Wherever we need radio and speed, we kind of have to determine which of the two is more important. For example, if we want to get into the church tower, I would love to have the radio there. But realistically speaking, we're not going to get in there with this. Might not even going to get in with this, and I need to put it on return fire immediately. Otherwise, it will give away itself, so that's going to be a tricky one. We're also going to try and put something in here. Same kind of issue with return fire potentially, so we really have to figure that out to do that fast. Now, there's two places we can reasonably push. We can push the town, we can push this. This one is not really an option, I feel like, with all the light armor that he has, because it's just faster than whatever I can bring to on the field. I could do a massive push with a Trini support, and then destroy any AT guns over here, have some of these for light armor killing, and then push in. But for one flag that I can't reasonably hold long term, it's just not worth the issue. This is something we can potentially push later, but I think with this division it's not really possible. The S1 is not really useful over here. Of course, in the town there should be nothing that can really kill that, realistically speaking. Yeah, the tiger can do it, but this will kill the tiger if he brings one. But it's 200 points. Maybe something for later, but we need to migrate super carefully also as a tank buster, which again, could potentially be a bit of an issue. So I'm considering bringing AA early on. We have to, let's wait for now. This is where I would, for example, this map specifically is where I would rather have a flak filling. One here, or Nimrod, one there, because the 85 mil is just not really useful over here. In many places. Now, the other good thing is here is where Gornostrelkovaya can be useful. It's 20 points to put in here and make sure that we don't lose that. Actually, no. If we want to push this and we still fight over the town, I don't think we should be at risk of losing this, really. My bigger concern is light armor over here, trying to stop a potential push that I'm doing. We have to be a bit careful about that. Still going to bring some Turan once. Might need to bring a Serene. I really don't like bringing them up close, so I don't really have anything that can deal with the T-34s if he brings them in there. That's just the reality that we're facing here, which is very unfortunate. Other than that, we want to have our good Saperi rocks, which could also be super useful in the town, but I think we probably need them over there. And we're going to get some Gornostrelkovaya and some Gornostrelkovaya DP. DT. The Gornostrelkovaya can help us here getting control over that a little bit. We're going to take a leader. And yeah, we might want to bring a Nimrod in. Good. So that's a pushing force over there. We have a huge force over here as well, which should really help us taking this back. Let's see, how much is that? That's 30 points, 60 points, 75 points. Okay, maybe we can let go of one of them. Put that over there, just to deal with any potential CQC that we might have here. So that this guy can get a little bit of help, which the Gornostrelkovaya should also provide. A little bit of extra help, I think, is not hurting it. So if needed, we can not take the L2KR, really. That is an option. Reason being that, you know, there's not that many ways you can deploy here. It's going to send something here. If something pushes here, we can't really do much, except for hoping that this does it. We can accept the large deployment here. We can accept the defensive deployment over here. That can be large or small. Doesn't really change the fact that I'm pushing there anyway. So that's kind of how I look at it. But obviously, it's still information that is useful, right? It's not useless knowing about it. But oh, I forgot we have the 20 mils too, which we should put to use. That means we might be able to use less forces. I'm super weak in the town now, so it's something that we might want to reconsider then. We definitely needed to run one hit just to deal with any of the light armor that is there. So this division really would have needed some 45 mils. That would have been very helpful. It's probably good that I didn't get it. I'm not necessarily complaining about that. Just stating the fact here that, yeah, would have been super useful. So on the Strelky, no, we want to have the DT here probably. So again, we need to push this. We still need to have something that can at least hold the town a little bit. And I'd like to have it like here so that we maybe can affect the flag over there. Ready? Good luck. Have fun. So here we have radio coverage in the area that we need with the leader. And over here, I don't know if I need radio coverage yet. But at the moment, we're not really going to bring that there anyway. Yeah, so the reason I wanted to keep it is that while I was talking about it, I realized that maybe, so I should do better with speaking these faults out a lot, but I really want to know if he has rush here coming so that I can react at least a little bit to it ahead of time, like putting something over here just to stop that. And I need to know if I need to reinforce this or not. And I do want to ideally know that before we get to the point where I need to know it. Okay, some armor coming through the town. A lot of deployment. Okay, so he seems to focus on the town, which means I should be able to take this, but I really need to reinforce the town ASAP. So I'm going to bring an ice one over there, I think. Yeah, we do have some light armor here by the looks of it. There's not that much of deployment, so I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about this, though. Right. He spotted my sniper, unfortunately. So nothing coming here directly. Oh, you need to spot again. Okay. It's playing slowly. Oh, not good. We killed almost all that I had there. Yeah, that's obviously not good. That was my attempt of actually fighting over this. Alright, let's push that. That was a good deployment on his side over there, so we're gonna send some more of these in. And some things over there, we need to take care of that later on too. For the time being, it's okay. Oh, that's not good, it's not good, it's not good, it's not good. They have an AT grenade. Oh, how did I not spot that? That's actually quite annoying. Really annoying. I'm gonna take more of these guys. Wait, it killed? Jesus. Okay, that is slightly annoying. Damn, that is not going super well here. Alright, let's just bomb this out. Done with it. We can also get some artillery support over here. And then we should probably get a Gornostrelkovaya in there. Just to make sure that we don't lose that. Okay, we should be able to kill that off now. How can you not drop those bombs? Right, he didn't get to drop the bombs by the looks of it. Might lose this now. Good. That's a good kill there for me. And I think I can just shift that now. Over here. That's a bit too far of a shift, maybe. Okay, okay. I'm slightly annoyed by the fact that I didn't see that Panzerschreck there. And now the SDK sec got in. That's obviously not ideal. Alright. Good. This is obviously not ideal. Or we can bring this guy in. And then we can bring Gornostrelkovaya that way. We can start hammering whatever is here. Oh yeah, I thought this was, for some reason I thought this was HE, which it is not. Oops. Alright. So, not looking very good at the moment. We're gonna get that flag back there. We're also gonna get this back in no time. Oh no, he got a hit there. That's really bad. Yeah, no. Alright, let's push over here now. We get that under control. Oh, forgot the SDK sets is here, yeah. Maybe not that good. Alright, let's have another go at this. Stabilize things, but it's not really looking good. I mean, we have to say, oh, I couldn't see because I didn't have recon there. Now we can commit, basically. This range should not easily pen. But we should bring recon over here. We also need another tank. Yeah, I mean, this is a... As you can see, this is a really bad matchup for the fact that we really struggle with light armor. And this division has so much light armor. Yeah, we got that back though. Even though I didn't use the 50mm mortar. So now we can see what's there. You can push a little bit further forward. We want to see what's there as well. And then maybe we can have a go at the town again. We're going to bring some of these. We should bring a leader now. And then we can start making plays with this. We might even be able to do plays now. Not in range for that. That's unfortunate. So we need to fall back here a little bit. Maybe we can use him a little bit. Over here. Yeah, we really need bazookas, which we don't have an awful lot of. Yeah, this is hard. This is very hard. For obvious reasons. Maybe you can go after the Valkyrie over there, which he uses really nicely. So it's good use there. This we can kill off. So... How expensive is that? Yeah, it's really cheap. Oh, he's counter-battering now. But we might want to fall that back. Not looking very good at the moment. But let's see what we can do. Maybe there's a way back into this. Now we need to go with Srini's, and I really don't like that. I really don't like that. Okay. Let's bring him. Let's bomb the church so we can see everything, and I'm probably not going to get it anytime soon. Okay, we got more of these now. So we're going to bring them. Pull him back a little bit, resupply him, and then we can see what we can do. And let's push another Gornostrelkovaya in there. Alright, you can open up on whatever you can see over here. This we move into position to do stuff. This you can also move into position. Okay, they're probably spotted. This is what they're shooting at. I know he's shooting at that one. Just move. Move, 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 move. We should pull him back. Oh, now we have a... Yeah, this is a problem. Actually, we can use this. And we can save this for now. All of you need to be delayed. Okay, yeah, it's just impossible pushing past that, really. That's super annoying. Alright. I might actually be able to make a push in the town. As weird as it is. Oh, it did die. Kinda expected that to happen at some point. Right, let's try to get in there. It's really missing. It's gonna get another shot off though. So it's good that we got these guys. I guess. Let's do that quickly. But we can also do it, I mean, if he really wants to. For practice reasons. It's so hard to push there. It's also so hard to push over here. There. One of them we put over here, one of them we put over here. And I guess we're gonna push the CS2 over there. Oh, APCR should be turned off. I think we can see what we can do over here. I don't really see... I haven't spotted any AT at least. Nah, I think we're gonna get an off-map and push him out of the town for good. Don't really have another way of doing it. Seriously? Gotta be kidding me. I mean, that's what I got for, yeah, sniping my reinforcement road. Ah, of course it hit. So you have to go that way, please. Don't want you to die unnecessarily there. Okay, the Serene is actually gonna make a place by the looks of it. Let's see if we get another look at what's going on here. I mean, if you ask like this, I would very much like to bomb you. Serene doing Serene thing? This thing is an absolute beast. This is an absolute beast. Oh, there. Oh, I forgot he has an 88, so obviously has AA. Good. Alright. Since there's reinforcements there, let's just push it and see what we can do. This one, though, I'm not really sure what you were aiming for, good sir. But it is 80. Probably no AA. So we're just going to bump that. And then we're going to make a push in here. We have to support that by the one kind of tank that we can still reasonably buy. Wait. Can you just shoot that down? No. Okay. You can go back then. And then move back over there. But, I mean, we are allowed to have some luck too, don't we? Aren't we? Okay, maybe we should run here. And then we're gonna get some of these guys in, and some of these guys. I think we really need another leader here, even though I would love to have it in the town. Actually, we can do this. Oh, that's a mother. That's actually dangerous. What's that Panzerfull? Ah, they can actually pen. No, it got back. Just have to pin it that way then. Oh, it killed it. That's not good. You have another? No, we don't have another one. We've used that one. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, I mean, this is... I'm playing badly for once. Oh, we got the bombing run though. That's good. I'm playing badly, which is problem one. Problem number two is... Yeah, it's... Boop. 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 And by the time they arrive, they should be pinned. Yeah, problem number two is this is really just not a good matchup. It's too much light armor. As we've established, light armor is the big weakness of this division. By a fair margin. And he has plenty of it. And we've seen that, right? It's been super annoying for me to push. Also, of course, this is where our limited amount of tanks really gets problematic. We also see... We can shift this over here. Just need to make sure that we're not gonna get killed because of oppression. No. We fire super fast out. Okay, we traded. Could have been worse, could have been worse. This is not good. It's actually really not good. Okay, here... Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. Wait, what killed that Srini? Is there like a GKT gun over there? Okay, we need to get some more IT in. We're really fighting for us. I mean, this game is lost. I think we can safely call that. He played much better and the... Oh yeah, this is the other... Yeah, we don't have AT again. Oh no. Want that engagement. We need to show side armor to something. And now we can stop and aim at this actually properly. Good. But yeah, this is the problem here. We have no AT, so that one thing over there can stop us. Like in so many cases already. At this range, you could one-tap that, please. Oh, the shell goes so low. So there we go. At least we got a kill. We need to drive probably over there. Should be an easy win, one would think. We can get this here to snipe a little bit, but it's realistically not going to change much. Bring a little flotilla of support weapons over here, though. Maybe they can do something. Oh, no. I didn't want you to actually reveal yourself. I just wanted you to be there. So that's poor off-map use, just to be very clear about this. Don't do this at home with kids. This is desperation. This is how desperation looks like. Because they really don't have another way of dealing with it at the moment. We need to get back up here a little bit. The problem is we still need to get in here somehow. Let's see what he has here. We need to get some information at least. At least with raid trade things move fast. This one we need to hide in the backyard. This is going to get fucked. And of course you don't have the AA here. He might lose line of sight. Yes, he did. Ooh, huge. Okay. I think we can safely call we're fucked. Look at this. We need to... Something's probably in there. We're gonna do this. And we're gonna do this. And then we'll run, because I don't really have many other options than running. Oh, that was a good guess though. And we're not completely, you know... At the moment, doing what I can to at least hold up as well as I can, while still losing. Not much more than that we can do at this point. Might be able to get back with some good old artillery grind. That's not exactly easy. These Raider AT guns though, not Raider, these Mountain AT guns though, really good. The problem is we're now up against T-34s and really don't have much left there that can deal with those. We need to get back into cover over there. This is also not a good fight because the Valkyrie is hybrid. These might be able to do something. But it's not easy. We need AA before we show this again. We might have a chance of moving this. And then this really might be able to do something. But again, with the SU-152 about here, forgot about that. This can actually take care of that, which you should also protect maybe with AA. You know, oh, yeah. Forgot about that again. I don't think we're going to lose line of sight this time. I should have a line so that it doesn't get side shots. I was just hoping that we get out of line of sight, which we do not. So, yeah, I think we can throw the Chi-Chi in. This is not going to go well. But yeah. I mean, this is the game I was kind of looking for. Not because I got wrecked, but because it showcases the strengths and weaknesses of the division much better than the previous one. I had about a 1 hour long attempt of getting a good game, meaning that, you know, I get a game where it has decent length, and it is an interesting one, because I had some bad maps where it's not like bad maps in bad for this division, because this one I would count as a bad map for this division, but just the unfun maps, like Astrono and things like... not Astrono, we had Ciano. So, I mean, yeah, this was... I did not see that. That was really good play. I killed a lot of these guys. I could have gotten that flag way earlier. And with way less investments. This is where that 180 gun could have saved me from a lot of damage. But again, it is also 40 points that you have to put there. And sometimes when you try to go all in one side, it's not as easy. This thing, yeah, the fact that my units didn't see that, super lucky. But that's just what it is, what happens sometime. These, I don't know what, yeah, didn't notice that one. This one, oh yeah, that one, yeah, it happens. I mean, he had enough time to bring a pack 38, and maybe it was there from the start and I just didn't spot it either, which is also unlucky, but it is what it is. What else do we have? Nimrod, yeah, that trade was really bad. I mean, the fact that it has 8 health is super bad, because this thing actually deals 8 damage, right? This is super dangerous, in general, not just to the Nimrod. But this is one of those cases where, yeah, I didn't really see this coming and didn't react in time. Should have fallen back to Nimrod way earlier. But I wanted to be a little bit closer with my AA, since I usually have my AA we were way too far back, and it's not a good thing. Other than that, yeah, another Panzerschreck. He used them very well, I have to say that. I want to see where they all were, because that I don't think it's the same one. Hold on, this is Freismut. And this one, no, yeah, I don't know where that one was. Yeah, no, this kill might run in the town, I think. It was probably that one. Yeah, I mean, the IS one is super useful, but you don't have a lot of them, and you know, you can kill them. The Marder up close definitely showed that. It's one of the things where, yeah, the off map, yeah, I was really desperate there. And then there's the tank push. I mean, we saw something super well here, and we're gonna get to that. But we definitely saw like the major issues of not having a lot of tanks actually. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of Turans, but they have very limited use. You don't have a lot of tanks that can actually do stuff. They have their weaknesses, and again, the general weakness in the AT type is really problematic. We've definitely seen that here. And the fact that the infantry doesn't have any, because we've seen this here super nicely. Like, any light armor can stop your push. We've seen this on the right at the start with a lot of light armor there, just completely shutting off any push that I wanted to make. And then on the left as well, where I had admittedly those were CQC units, but even if I had light infantry, I wouldn't really have changed much. So it is definitely something we need to talk about when we are back. But yeah, with that, I think we can close this part. Thanks to Jager for actually playing. And let's go back to the deck. And here we are back with the deck. So obviously, this was a very rough game, but I think this was very good to showcase us all the weaknesses. It pretty much showed all weaknesses that this division has, in my opinion, which is fantastic. It didn't really show us any of the strengths, obviously, which is unfortunate. I can tell you about those from my experience. I've had 1 or 2 good games where this division could really shine with the strengths that it has. So that's definitely a good thing. So let's start with let's do the quick version again, and then we talk about it in more detail. So I think my verdict hasn't really changed. I think it is a solid division for close range to maybe even mid-range maps, despite some of the 2K tools that you have. I don't think it's a 2K division at all. You can find at it, right? It's well-rounded. You can potentially play this on any map in the game, but you can definitely not play this against any division, as this game has showed us very nicely, I think. But yeah, it is mostly good against infantry-heavy divisions or tank divisions, but on maps that are not good for tank divisions, weirdly enough. So you want to find something that has not more CQC than this, and not an awful lot of armor, or if armor, mostly tanks that the IS-1 can deal with. It's really... that's kind of the niche way you have to go about it. So, well, I wouldn't say tank this, but, you know, divisions with normal tanks, let's say. Something like for the Western Allies, for example, take 80th Indian, right, where you can just win at CQC and you don't have a ton of light armor to worry about. This is kind of the scenario you want to play against. You don't want to play against a division like Kage or any super busted infantry, not busted, maybe wrong, but a super hyper-focused infantry CQC division like DFL with a lot of light armor. This again would be a nightmare for this division, in my opinion. Despite you having some tools that could be a nightmare for DFL, we have to point that out too. But yeah, so this is kind of where I see this division. It has that niche that it can be very powerful against some other infantry division in the right setting. But it really depends on the kind of division. Anything mechanized is definitely a bit of an issue for this. And yeah, other than that, main issue, as we said, light armor. We've seen this here. Light armor is the kryptonite of this division. On the plus side, though, it is very nice that it has still a lot of really cool infantry. It can really slap at CQC. We haven't seen this here to the extent that we could have, but the combination of all these tools here, and this one as well, is really powerful. So we should do that. We should really use that. Now, things that we should change. We can go to that next, and then we're going to go into a little bit more detail. The one thing that I really want to change, even though I like these for the aggressive opener, but again, this is not a map where I could use that. This is a bit more map specific, where you can use snipers for aggressive openers, in my opinion, and matchup dependent. Because again, against infantry division, super strong. Against armored division, not so strong. I think we need to take all this, and if you don't get an increase in rate of fire, then we should just take... I don't care about the accuracy that much. We need the mounts here. I know 25%. It should be okay. I think we just take them no vet. Spam out all 15 of them. Make good use of them. I think we need that. That could definitely have helped me here tremendously. That also means that you don't, in areas where you're not 100% sure and there's some light armor that you want to push against, that means you don't necessarily need to sacrifice it to round 1, right? You can send one of these forward, and then that takes the Panzerfaust hit or the Pack 38 hit, and you know, then you can work around that. That's one thing that we definitely need to change. And other than that, I don't think there's much we can change. There's definitely things I could have done better in that game, like use the tools that we had better, but I don't think there's that much really needs changing. What I'm really not a huge fan of now that we've tried it, is putting this in A phase. I really kind of wish we could, but at the same time, having felt the issue with armor, as soon as we're on any map where there's a little bit of range, we really need this we only have this as our only thing that can actually at least do something at range, to the point where having the AT gun might be necessary, just so that we have an additional and also cheaper thing that we could call in. I think, for example, the hill where I put the IS-1, this could have probably done the same job there, honestly, and then we had the AA as well to protect the IC-152. So you have to think a bit more ahead. And I think that goes into if you go to the more detailed analysis now, this is going to get in there. I think with this division, you need to think ahead a lot. You really need to make sure that you have the right tool in the right place and that you are very efficient with what you do. Because again, you're very limited with the tools that you have, and you have to make best use of those that you have. Not so much with the infantry. That is less of the issue, but the leader needs to be in just the right spot, and your armor needs to be as well, and so do your support weapons and any potential options that you have for long range AT. Because again, you don't have a lot of all of these tools, especially like these are, of course, you have plenty of those, but the problem is they are limited in their mobility. So you want to have them in the right spot so they can do what you need them to do. You don't want to move them afterwards. This is not an ideal case scenario. So that's kind of where I would put the difficulty of this. I think it is not actually, I wouldn't say it's a super hard division to play, but I don't think it's actually super easy either. Because again, you need to have that kind of foresight and be a bit smart about where you put what. And that definitely requires a little of thinking and a little of skill. Yeah, as we said, big issue is the infantry tab not having any AT except for the Gornostrelkovaya, which is just an AT grenade, and that is a huge issue. Like, none of these have any AT whatsoever, and that's a big problem. This one is your only thing, and the bazooka being on your leader is not really all that helpful either, because it limits the use of it, right? In areas where you have a leader, where you want to have a leader, you need to decide whether you really want to take it, because it's also your bazooka. In areas where you would use a bazooka, you need to be very mindful of whether it makes sense to waste your leader there or put your leader there or not, because you might waste it. So that's the big issue with this division. Other than that, I think, again, so one thing that you have to be really aware of is that the IS-1, this is a tool that really needs to survive. Because in B phase, you don't have any, like, yeah, this is it's still classified as a light tank, but it is a medium tank in terms of health, and yeah, it has a little bit of pen. But at the end of the day, this is still very limited in what it can do against other medium tanks. It sometimes can shred them, but it is still very risky. The accuracy is low, and they still die super easily. That's a problem. Like, any AT can easily kill that. So you kind of rely on these two tanks here really surviving for most of the game, and that is not always easy, because you might be forced to bring them in positions where they really need to fight it, where they can actually die. So that's a big issue in my opinion. So you kind of have, if you look at your armor tab and all the other things that go with AT and infantry support, you have a bit of everything that you could want to wish for, but you just really don't have a lot of any of those, and that's the big issue. But other than that, in here I would not really change anything. These guys, of course, where are they? These guys we've seen against a shrimp pirate, they can have their issue. Although they still a good amount of work, so I'm kind of undecided, to be honest. I think I need to try this again. I would definitely see a reason now to go with the Gorno after. Gonna admit that. But I think there's cases where this can actually work super well as well. It also is a question of whether you have the micro capability or not, which I did not have in this case, but there might be other scenarios where it absolutely works. I've had the first game that I played with this, I did have it, and it works super well. And I have had one more game where it wasn't needed and it worked super well as well. So that's kind of that side of things. Tank tab, I wouldn't really change much. In the recon we've talked about. Support tab, also not much I would change. Of course, having some more machine guns would be nice to fill the gaps, but not really option. I would love to put more AT in there, or more of these actually. Both. I think we kind of want to have both. Just don't really know what we want to take out. AA, we've talked about it. This game kind of made me wish I had those in there, but I can see issues with not having this after having experienced how limiting this tank type can feel at times. So I will keep them in for now. If you feel risky, the thing that you could do is take those and take those out, and then you kind of rely on your Nimrods really surviving for quite long. This would actually be an option too, since you still have AT as some AA with these, right? They will provide AA as well. So that might be an option, but this is a risky path that you go. So if you do that, you really can expect to win super fast. Artillery type wouldn't change anything. You really need this, in my opinion. But the problem is it's a bit expensive for using it in A phase, even with Vanguard. And after that, your income can drop, so it's still expensive to use it. Yeah, and yeah, tab, I wouldn't really change that. I think I'm happy with this right here. End of the day, so I wouldn't really change that, but I think, yeah, we've talked about my verdict, the issues, the strengths. It's still a fun division. I like the flavor of it. I think it's very flavorful, which makes it a really cool division in my opinion. But again, it is very matchup dependent. It can very easily be countered, and you have to be aware of that when you play that in quick play. That, yeah, some of the games might not be so fun after all. And with that, thank you all for watching. Have a great day and see you all in the next one.